Coach Witter.
Coach, so you start with your backstory a little bit. How'd you, where'd you grow up? How'd you get into basketball? How'd you get into coaching?
Okay, great. I'm originally from Kansas City, Missouri. Been there most of my life, raised-wise. Then after that, I went to Creighton University. That's where I actually met Coach DeVries. Played for him 3 years from 2007 to 2010. So played with him 3 years there, had a really good experience. After that, I played 9 to 10 years professionally in Europe, mainly Portugal and Germany. Right after I got done playing, I got into coaching. My first job was at a Division II institution in Jefferson City, Missouri, called Lincoln University. So that was, and after that, I just stayed with it. Went from Lincoln University to Georgia Southern. Then I worked with Coach last year at Drake University, and now I'm with Coach this year.
So how'd you get, did you decide coaching early was going to be your path? Or, because, it sounds like you played for a long time. So
yeah, I played, and I was planning on actually keep playing. Then it just it's one of the things that kind of just happened. I went down to visit a buddy. He was coaching at the same institution at the time, and me and the head coach kind of hit it off, and he offered me a position, and I thought it over, and weighed the pros and cons, and I was at decent age. I was 29, 30 at the time, and I thought it'd be a good chance for me to get into the collegiate coaching level, and skip a couple steps. That is really hard to. A lot of guys got to go a longer route to even get to Division II coaching. So I decided to take that route, and after my first year, I really enjoyed it, just because I was doing something I love from a basketball standpoint. I'm really passionate about the sport still, and I was impacting lives, helping young men mature and grow a little bit.
As a former player, not too far removed from your playing days, still get out there, still say no, do it like this. Show it on the practice floor?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the best things about the situation I'm in now, because I can still show it a little bit from a teaching standpoint. Instead of just telling the guy, yelling at him how to do it, I could go out there and physically show him, how stuff is done and stuff like that. So I love the game, from playing to coaching to teaching, everything about basketball. I really enjoy it. So for me to even get a chance to go play 3-on-3 or 2-on-2 or even 1-on-1 against some of the guys, I'll do it in a heartbeat.
From your point of view, sitting on the bench now and big plays, big games happening, going down to the wire, Gonzaga, Arizona, what's your mentality when you're sitting there? Obviously you can't get on the court, but I'm sure you're itching to get out there. What's going on in your brain?
Yeah, that was you said it interesting. I can't get on the court. That was the transition for me, because I was so used to I know what to do as a player. Now I got to transition teaching that as a coach. Especially when it comes to close games, I can't assume guys know what they supposed to do, so I try to teach and be upbeat as much as possible with guys. And just try to from my experience, I feel like I got a lifetime experience from playing basketball from an early age to now. And I just try to, from experience and teaching and stuff I pick up, just try to, display that with the guys and, teach them the way.
So you worked with Coach DeVries or played under him when he was at Creighton. So obviously he's an assistant. How's he changed now and over the years to now that he's a head coach?
It's crazy, because me and his relationship we still got the same relationship. He used to throw a lot of digs at me, and he still do a lot of digging. So he was a little bit more as assistant coach. I worked with him a lot, especially after practice on skill development. So right then and there, I knew he was going to be one hell of a coach, just from the knowledge he knew, and you could tell he really enjoyed and invested time into his players. So from assistant coach, he was just one of those guys. He kept the locker room together really well. He told you he was a big time truth teller. He told you when he was doing good, told you when he was doing bad, and he carried the same way. Now it's just a different position for him now as a head coach. Still doing the same things, but just at a different way.
You still have a lot of family in Kansas City?
Yeah, most of my family in Kansas City.
So with the Big 12 tournament?
Yeah, you're going to see a show out, yeah. I'm going to have everybody and their mama ask me for a ticket.
Obviously, you have your relationship with Coach DeVries, so you know how he operates and what he looks for. And when you kind of think of the whole package, though, the way everyone came in new, you had to build an entire roster for a Big 12 team, a major school and a major conference, that it's worked out the way it has any of that surprised you?
No, honestly, the results are, is good for us right now. But I think the one thing we all had on the same page was, we was a competitive group from the coaching staff, very competitive group. The players are very competitive. So, we had to teach, different players, how things are done, of course. But I think the common goal, everybody want to win. So when we got that kind of direction, then, we can meet halfway on some things.
It doesn't always work, though, right?
No, that's the thing. Winning is tough.
Yeah.
So, you could have one slip up one day that could cost you the next 2 games. So every day, like from practice, from preparation, you got to take a step forward. You got to take it like this is your last game or last practice you might have. So, yeah, winning is tough, but if you prepare at the highest level you can, you give yourself a chance.
Your thoughts of Javon, what he's been able to accomplish so far? Has it exceeded expectations at all?
No, I ain't exceeded my expectation. I think he need to be more aggressive. Honestly, he's a really good player, and one thing about him, he's very coachable. To have the skill set and the talent he have, you can see a lot of arrogance from a lot of players, but he's really a humble guy, and he's very coachable. He's a student of the game, always willing to learn, and so the success he's having within the team dynamics, I'm not surprised, and because just type of kid he is, type of young man he is. Excuse me.
Oh, go ahead, Kevin.
No, go ahead.
How's your transition to West Virginia been? I mean, basketball when you get on the court, but obviously this isn't the Midwest, so.
Yeah, it's not the Midwest. I'm used to flat, so it was when my first drive up here, I was like, man, I'm either going up a hill or down the hill. So it was something I had to adjust to. But I like Morgantown. Morgantown I like West Virginia in general. It's so green. It's like just one big green forest everywhere. So I like it. Yeah, it's different from what I'm used to.
Basketball different? I mean, you haven't gotten in the Big 12 yet, but you soon will. Is basketball different at this point?
You playing and coaching against more high level and elite coaches, man. You get to, as especially in the position I'm get to learn on the fly as well. Even when the opposite opponent doing like that was really smart. Just to put it in my backpack for the future. So. Yeah, I mean, it's basketball. It's basketball. You put in what you get in, but at the same time, yeah, it's you going against elite talent and elite coaching.
Anything else?
Yeah, one more. In trying to, in assembling this team, when you're looking at players, everybody says, hey, go get good players. You obviously got some that had success behind them, like Javon, but you also brought in guys that were subs, little used, whatever. What do you look at when you don't have a whole lot of game film or saying, yeah, that guy's a great player, that makes you think he's a good fit here?
It's things you got to do the utmost research on guys because you want to make sure they're the right fit and they fit what you want and what you want in as a program to represent you here and off the court as well. And I think we did a really good job of just building and getting guys that wants to win, high character guys, very humble, humane guys. So it just putting guys in the best situation and they could of course to be successful individually, but still have the best ways to help us win games at the same time.
Number one on the court skill they have to have.
Number one on the court skill. Toughness. I mean, you can see every team I feel like have a motor, and I think we got a couple motors on our team. I think Amani is an outstanding motor. I mean, you look at his game against Arizona, he played 38 minutes and he battled his butt off those games. I think Sincere's been doing an outstanding job of guarding the best player every night. So I think toughness, guys is willing to sacrifice for the better of the team, but they got to be tough skin and tough guys to do that.
Toughness, chemistry, character. You don't find any of that on the stat sheet.
No, you do not. So we look for guys that are willing to do this thing that don't show up on the stats. Discipline is on the top of that. That's one of my big things too as well, because the more disciplined group you have, the better. All these things don't ultimately lead to winning every time, but it gives you a chance.
So when you're talking about research on guys, I mean, this is beyond
Yeah, you talk to former coaches. You even talk to sometimes if a former teammate of theirs. You talk to them, see how he was and everything like that. How he accept coaching, how he handle adversity, how will he do in tough situations. So yeah, you do your research because ultimately when you get him, that he's yours now. So you got to do the best what you can with him.
I'm wondering if a lot of teams go through that amount of research. In your opinion. when it comes to
That's I can't speak for a lot of the other teams, but that's a really good question. I'm assuming so because I mean, you look at teams like UConn that been having success lately. Coach had a really good speech where he recruit humble guys. He don't recruit like the best players all the time. So I'm assuming so. Yes.
Evaluate yourself as a player. What kind of player were you?
Player?
Yeah, obviously you weren't a post player.
No, I
so-
wasn't a post player, but I say I love the gym, so that was like my passion. So I love staying in the gym. I was a pretty skilled guy. I could shoot, dribble, pass. I was, and I think one thing about me, probably the best thing about me, I was extremely competitive. I thought I was Michael Jordan of the 6-foot guys. So, I wanted to win every game, every competition. It could be a down and back line touch. I wanted to win that. So I was a competitive guy. I'm not going to sit here and say that I was the most talented guy, but I think, me being a competitive and a hard worker and, being invested in my craft, I think that's what got me where I'm at now.
Where'd you play overseas?
Mainly Portugal and Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had not. I don't count my first year because sadly, say my first year I ruptured my Achilles, so I count every year after that. So it's technically 10, but a 9 I played.
Okay.
You ever spend any time in Lisbon? Or?
I love Lisbon. I played in Lisbon. Yeah, absolutely. Lisbon and Porto, was a couple of the teams I played at, and Lisbon, Porto, those are beautiful places.
Who introduced you to the game of basketball?
You know what? It's crazy. He was only 2 years. He was only 2 years older than me, but at the time that was like a big deal. But I remember 4th grade, I was still double dribbling and traveling. And a 6th grader, he was my neighbor. He basically showed me like, hey, this is how you're supposed to dribble the basketball. This is how you're supposed to shoot the ball, and this is how you pivot. So we did that for a week straight, and I started, liking it. I started going into him like he was my trainer every day, bothering every day and everything like that. And he was an okay ball player, but since that's all I knew at the time, and so it was crazy. My neighbor actually, the one that first really helped me out on it.
Okay, may get you in trouble back in Kansas City, but when you're home, which barbecue place
Gates.
do you have to go to?
Gates Barbecue.
Gates?
Yeah, I'm old-fashioned. I got to stay traditional. Gates. Yeah.
Coach, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.